and life interested me so that I dared to knock at the door of the cosmos.
Sun Ra, in your words?
My world, a master, a scholar, a teacher, a friend. I can go on and on. Sun Ra's missions were to open the minds of musicians and people and the public to the space age. And therefore the space age said, the space age is here to stay, no place you can run away. So, face of music. So he wrote songs about same things he's talking. Open people's mind up to creative things and other worlds besides this one. I was working at the Revere Camera Company. They made camera lenses, polishing camera lenses. And around the corner, from about a block from there, was a music store that sold records, and I was buying a lot of records then. So every time I get off from work, I go by the record store for go home and buy a record. So I went there one day, and Joe Siegel was the owner of the shop out of Chicago. And he says, "Oh, I got something for you. I know you're always looking for something different." There's a demo with a lot of musicians on it, and Sun Ra was on it. So I took his record, I went home and I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing, and I kept going back to Sun Ra. I said, "Oh, that's got something in it that's refreshing, something in it that I couldn't stop playing. I could play. I stayed up half the night playing. I saw him over and over by Sun Ra. Then the next day I went to work, and I went to the store, and I told the guy, "Oh, I like that record," you know. So he said, "Well, you know, he lives up that bayou in your neighborhood on the south side." He said he rehearses every night, every evening up there at a ballroom. So you can go, and he's always looking for new talent. So I said, "Oh, yeah." So I had a friend of mine who's a drummer, Billy Mitchell. So we said, "Let's go over there. We're going over there." So we went up to Sun Ra's rehearsal. He was in the ballroom over there writing music and sitting at the table. So we come with our horns. You know, the band was rehearsing some stuff. He was sitting there writing. And we sit there with him, and we said we wanted to be in the band. And then Sun Ra was like, "Oh yeah, sit down. You know, they started talking about space age and the Bible and the Bible and ancient Egypt and all these things. I said, what does that do with the music? You know, myself. So he says, "I'm going to eat. I'm going around to the restaurant by the club around the corner." And so we followed him around and sit there with him all the rest of the evening. And then I just kept on sitting and kept on eating and just stayed there. I said, what's happening? I still sit there in the matter of 12 o'clock. And then next thing you know, it's 4 o'clock and the band's getting out, and then all the guys come out of the club, and they all went over in the restaurant, and Sun Ra was still there with me and with him. So that was all night thing. I finally got to work the next day.
Somebody else's idea of somebody else's world is not my idea of things as they are. Somebody else's idea of somebody else's world is not my idea of things as they are. Somebody else's idea of somebody else's world is not.
Yeah, who was Sun Ra?
Sun Ra was and it still is, a musician of the angelic squad. He was a master band leader, a master arranger, a master poet, a master of everything in music and art. And he had a band he still has the band till he left the planet. And Marshall Allen is now our director of the band. But Sun Ra was something, man. There would never be another Sun Ra. Never. Sun Ra had a lot of discipline like that too. He was very disciplined. He, like I said, it was rehearsal. You had to rehearse. And he would make new ideas. And I used to stay there at the house. So he moved here from New York. And we had this house over there on Morton Street. And so we could rehearse 24 hours a day if we wanted to. Sometimes Sun Ra never really slept. He would take cat naps. So he would, about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, no telling, he might call you, can you come down and run over this? And especially if we was going out, say like on tour, he would rehearse we started about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning after breakfast. And rehearsal would go on to about maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. Constantly. I mean, it was almost unreal, the rehearsals that we went through. And Sun Ra really didn't care if you didn't make the job. You better not miss the rehearsal. He was something else, man. He was something else.
Calling planet Earth. Calling planet Earth. Calling planet Earth.
My name is Michael Ray. I've been the lead trumpet player and member of the Sun Ra Orchestra since 1978. Designated intergalactic tone research scientist by Sun Ra himself. Sun Ra not only was my mentor, my instructor, my confidant, he was a genius when it came to music. When I first met Sun Ra, we played together in Philadelphia at a festival. I was playing with John Minnett's Big Bone Band. And they were on the bill. And it was quite bizarre. I had 2 drummers and girls singing Spaces of Place and Fire Eaters. So I happened to see him on the trolley and said, hey, why don't you come over to rehearse? I said, it was a great show. So I went to his house and he said, hi. What's this place? He said, I know everything you need to know about music. And I took it for, okay. So he asked me, did I know any standards? And I said, I know a couple. So he said, well, you know Lady Bird? I said, yeah. He said, well, Lady Bird has the same changes as Half Nelson. So he had Gilman play Half Nelson, I played Lady Bird, and vice versa. And then he said, well, try it in 5/4 now. And started in 7/8, and 6/8, and 3/4. And that went on with that one number that entire day. So that was my first meeting with Sun Ra. And I didn't really realize he was a genius until he played Somewhere Over the Rainbow on acoustic piano. in New York. And I had tears coming out my eyes. And that's when I was truly committed to the Sun Ra Orchestra. Marshall Allen has been my teacher and mentor for many years. He kind of took me under his wing when I first got with the orchestra, and we were roommates. Now you gotta understand, this is a cat that rode with the Buffalo Soldiers. I was in Paris with Parker, studied at the Conservatory in Paris. Has been leading this band for the past couple of years. Has over 100 songs that he's written that we don't even play. It's very interesting approach. He has the music. It's just like when he'll hand you a chart in E flat. He said, "What's Rick Fountain?" I said, "Well, just transpose it." There is a system, a music system where you can just look at it it's like me. So I've learned a lot from Marshall. He said, one thing that I always appreciate, he says, play what you don't know. There's a lot in that statement, play what you don't know. So, hold true to your own music. That's what I would suggest to all of y'all out there. Because space is the place.
So it's spring. When I joined the band, that was one of the songs in the book. Sun Ra was a messenger. A messenger from somewhere there. A messenger from somewhere there. Somewhere beyond this place. Somewhere beyond this place and time. He said it was Saturn. I have no reason to disbelieve him. Sun Ra was a messenger sent from the omniverse with a call for humanity to change itself, turn itself inside out into something better. He had a message. You're on the right road, going the wrong direction. So he just wanted to see this planet be a better place for humanity.
Sun Ra said, "Give up your death." What is he talking about?
Give up your death. What does it mean to you? A lot of the things that he would say are basically subjective. They're allegory, and the allegory is based on your frame of reference. So he also said, what is this life you call death? You call this life? You're looking good today, how long you been dead? So in many ways, his concept of what people call life on this planet, he saw as a spiritual death. So give up your death, give up that spiritual death, and live a spiritual awakening, a spiritual life. So give up your death, give up the limitations, and the illusion of what they call life. Give that up, because that's a spiritual death. So can you give up your death? He said, you would give up your life for me, can you give up your death for me? Also, he didn't believe in death, as in the concept of the ancient pharaohs. The whole idea of mummification was that this thing they called death was just a transition to another level of living, another dimension of life itself. So give up your death, give up your concept of death. Right. That's my concept of that's what I gleaned from his words. Sun Ra had a way of speaking which moves you to another level spiritually. There's so much to glean from what he said. He had so much information. Sometimes it was difficult because it was an onslaught of information on so many different levels that a lot of times, I always speak with him and come away with headaches because trying to process so much of what he said, it contained so much. His mere presence was enough to put you on another plane if you're receptive enough. Sun Ra was a messenger from somewhere there, somewhere beyond this place and time. He said it was Saturn. I have no reason to disbelieve him.
Some musicians are angels, I really feel. And some musicians, because man can't play like that. Some of these people are angels, came down here. And there's no way a man could play this music.
Someone was a messenger sent from the omniverse with a call for humanity to change itself, turn itself inside out into something better.
Sun Ra's missions were to open the minds of musicians and people and the public to the space age. Open people's mind up to creative things in other worlds besides this one. That's other worlds in the universe.